morning, children. Well, into this class of economic application, we shall take up a topic that is the third factor of production, that is capital. In today's class, we shall discuss what capital is, different characteristics of capital, and various kinds of capital. Okay, a bit of recap on what we did in the last class. Well, in the last class, we talked about the division of labor, different kinds of division of labor, and we also discussed about the advantages and disadvantages of division of labor. So today's topic, that is capital. So let's get started. Well, first of all, what capital is? Well, capital refers to all those man-made durable goods which are used in the production of other goods and services. Okay, it adds value in the process of production. Okay, to name some, for example, tools and instruments, right? Machines and trucks, or factories and buildings. And many other such, stocks of goods which helps in the production of other goods and services are called what? Capital in economics. Alright, now let us see the characteristics of capital. First, the first characteristics of capital is man-made. Yes, capital is not the free gift of nature like land. It is created by man. Alright, so all capital items are generated when human labor is applied on what? On the natural resources. So capital is a man-made items. Okay, it is not a free gift of nature. The second characteristics of capital is what? It is durable. Okay, so one of the most important characteristics of capital is its durability. Okay, capital goods are what? Durable goods. Some capital goods, they last for decades, and some they depreciate in a few years of time. Alright, so that's it. Third characteristics of capital is a passive factor of production. Yes. Now see, just like land, capital is also a passive factor of production, which means that it cannot produce anything by itself. Alright, so what does it require? It requires the assistance of what? Assistance of human labor to become active or productive. Okay, so that's the third characteristics. Okay, the fourth characteristics is a mobile factor. Yes, see, capital is the most mobile factor of production. What does it mean? It means that it can easily be transported or transferred from one place to another place. Alright. Okay, the next factor is supply of capital is elastic. Yeah, now what does this mean then? Well, see, the supply of capital is elastic. It means that it can be, the supply of capital can be increased and decreased according to the requirement of the production. Okay, according to its requirement, it can be increased and decreased. Why? Because capital is a man-made product. Okay, unlike land, which is fixed, the supply of land cannot be increased and decreased, isn't it? But in case of capital, it is not like that. It can be increased and decreased according to the requirement. Okay, well, the next factor of capital is subject to depreciation. Okay, now what does this mean? Well, see, in course of time, capitals like the tools and the various kinds of implements, the machinery things, all of these things, guess what? It gets worn out. It gets worn out, and it has to be what? It has to be replaced. Therefore, the producers have to maintain some fund every year for the replacement of such machineries and tools. Alright, that's why this so-called the fund which is kept aside by the producer for all these expenses is also known as what? Depreciation fund. Okay, well, the next characteristics, capital is the result of past saving. Yes, now see, capital goods can be produced and increased only after saving of money and reinvesting it. You understood? The capital, as I said, capital is not a free gift of nature, isn't it? Okay, so capital can be produced and what? Increased only after certain money is saved and reinvested in it. Okay, therefore it can be capital can also it can also rightly be said that capital is the outcome of what? Saving. Okay, first you have to save money, then only you will be able to invest it and create a capital. Okay, so that is why capital is also very rightly said as what? It is the outcome of saving. Okay, Well, now see, these are the characteristics of capitals we saw right now. Now we will see the different kinds of capitals. Okay, there are various kinds of capitals we are going to discuss now. The very first is we'll talk about fixed capital and circulating capital. Okay, now see, first of all, what is a fixed capital then? Well, see, the fixed capital refers to all those kinds of capital which can be used again and again for the production of goods and services. Okay, like for example, factory building, machine. You know, the service of machine and the factory building does not come to an end with one use. It can be used again and again for the process of production. Okay, so such kind of capital is known as what? Fixed capital. Okay, then what about circulating capital? What is it then? Well, a circulating capital, you know, on the other hand, are those capital which are used in production only for once. After, you know, after its one use, it comes to an end. That means it can only be used once. Okay, like for example, the fuel. You know, the fuel which you use in the factory to run the machinery comes to an end after one use. You cannot reuse that fuel again and again, isn't it? Okay, so a very good example of circulating capitals are, like for example, the raw materials, and then as I said just now, the fuel. Okay, so see, that is why circulating capital is also known as what? It is also known as a single-use capital goods. Circulating capital is also known as what? A single-use capital goods. Alright? Okay, now we'll see the next type of capital, that is sunk capital and floating capital. Now what does this mean? Sunk capital and floating capital. Okay, see, sunk capital are those capital which, you know, which is used for a single purpose only. Sunk capital are those capital which are used for single purpose. Okay, that is why you know, sunk capital is also known as a specialized capital. For example, printing machine. You know, printing machine does not have multiple uses, isn't it? Printing machine is only used for one purpose, that is to print. Yes or no? So such kind of capital is known as what? Sunk capital. Alright? Then we have another kind of capital which is known as floating capital. Now what are floating capital? Floating capitals are those capitals which can be put to several uses. Okay, like for example, electricity. Electricity has got multi-purpose, it can be used for so many purposes. Yes or no? Electricity can be used to light your house. It can also use as a heating agent. It can also use as an energy to run different machineries, etc. So electricity is a very good example of what? Floating capital. Alright? Floating capital is also known as what? A free capital. Alright. Okay, then we have another kind of capital which is known as remunerative capital and auxiliary capital. Now what does this mean then? First of all, remunerative capitals are all those payments, you know, which are made to the worker for their contribution in the production. That means the various, you know, the wages, the salaries, which, you know, wages and salaries are what? They are all remuneration which you receive for your contribution that you give for the production. Yes or no? Okay. So such kind of payments are called what? A remunerative capital. Alright. Then we have auxiliary capital. Now auxiliary capital are all those man-made capitals like, you know, like as I said, tools, machines, equipments, raw material, etc. which helps the labor in the production process. Okay, such kind of capital which helps the labor in the production process are called what? Auxiliary capital. Okay, well, the next kind of capital is the material capital and personal capital. Now what's the material capital then? Well, material capital refers to all those things which are tangible in form. Tangible in form means those things which can be seen, which can be touched, and which can be transferred from one place to another place, or from one person to another person. Okay, so all those tangible goods, you know, all those tangible things which you can see, you can touch, you know, those things are called material, you know, I'm talking about capital, alright. So those things are called material capital, which can be what? Which are intangible form and can be transferred from one place to another place, or from one person to another person. Like in the factory, you make use of tools and machine. These tools and machine can be what? It can be transferred from one person to another person. One person is using, next time another person can use it, isn't it? Those are all tangible items. So such kind of goods are called, such kind of capitals are called what? Material capital. Okay. Then we have personal capital. Personal capitals are those capital which cannot be transferred from one person to another person. Like material capital, you could transfer from one person to another person, but personal material you can personal capital you cannot transfer from one person to another person. Okay, like for example, see, the skill of a worker, or the surgeon's skill, or the art of singing, these are your personal qualities, isn't it? These are your personal skill, so you cannot transfer it from one person to another person. Such kind of capital are very personal, so they are called personal capital. Okay. Then we have another kind of capital which is known as real capital. Now what's real capital? See, real capital refers to the capital goods which are used as an inputs in the production process. Okay, like for example, raw material. Raw material are used as an inputs in the production process, isn't it? So such like here, raw material is called what? A real capital. Or the machines or the tools that you use in the factory to produce things, these are called real capital. Why? Because these are used as a what? They are used as an inputs in the production process. Okay, then we have money capital. Now what is money capital then? See, money capital means money or cash in hand, which is utilized by the producers for the purchasing of various capitals, like the things that you require in the production process, like implements, equipments, tools, raw materials. So these things are all, to purchase these things you require what? Money capital, isn't it? So money capital is what? It's nothing. It's a money or cash in hand which is used by the producers to buy all this what? To purchase all this materials which is required for the, or which is required or needed for the production. Okay, so it's money capital. Well, then we have debt capital. What are debt capital then? We'll see. Debt capitals are capital which are in the form of what? Shares, debentures, or government promissory notes. So these are all invested. These are all invested to earn what? To earn interest income. Okay. So such kind of investments are called what? Debt capitals. Alright, okay. Now the next kind of capital is what? Production or consumption capital. Okay, now so what's a production capital then? Well, production capitals are all those capitals which helps the production directly. Okay, production capitals are those capital which helps the production directly. For example, raw material. Raw material helps in the production of a particular things directly, isn't it? Okay, whereas what is consumption capital then? This is just the opposite. Consumption capitals are all those capitals which helps the production indirectly. Like for example, the residential building for the factory workers. See, factory workers, though they require a shelter to shelter for themselves to work in the factory. So to make the labor presence in the factory, at least they should have some shelter for them to stay. Okay, so indirectly, though they are staying in that factory, or in those factories, residential buildings, they are staying there for what purpose? For the production of goods and services there, isn't it? So the residential buildings, or the quarters, you may say, these are called, this kind of amenities are called what? These are called what? Consumption capital, which indirectly helps in the production process. Okay. Well, then we have another kind of capital, that is internal and external capital. Now what is internal capital then? Well, see, internal capitals are those capitals which are the result of domestic savings. Whatever you save, all those capitals which you are which you have created with the help of domestic saving in the country are called internal capital. Okay, so such capital has a source within the within the country only. Okay, in that is I'm talking about internal capital. Okay, then what about external capital then? Well, see, external capitals are those capitals which are imported from abroad, which are imported from the other foreign countries. Okay, for example, the capital received by the country, okay, from World Bank or from International Finance Corporation are called what? They are called external capital because they come from outside. These are all imported. Alright? Okay. Then lastly we have human capital. Then what is human capital? See, human capital is a recent concept. Okay, what does it include here then? Well, human capital includes, it refers to all those stocks of people equipped with stocks of people, of course, in the country who are equipped with good and high education, with skilled, with a various kind of skill of work, the skill that you require for the work, and who possesses good health. Okay, all these are called human capital. Why? Because if you have a better education, good education, equipped with good skills and possess health, good health, this this in a way directly helps in the in the production process. If you're healthy, you'll be able to produce, give a better in a positively, it has a positive effect in the production, in short. Okay, and naturally it will also help in the nations countries development, a nation's development or a country's development. Okay, so these are the various kinds of capitals that we saw. Now see, we saw capitals, we saw various characteristics of capitals. Now by seeing all this, we can safely come to the conclusion saying that capital is a very, very important factor of production, isn't it? Without capital, production process is not much possible. All right, though of course without labor, production, in fact labor is the most important factor of production, but likewise capital is also a very important factor of production. Okay, see, why, capital, what does capital provide? Capital provides various kinds of implements that you require in the factories, like as I been saying, that tools, equipments, machines, all these things which is needed for the productions of various commodities is provided by the capital. Okay, so it is very important, rather. Okay, and not only that, capital is also, why capital is very important is that capital is also a very important source of supply of raw material required in the production process. Okay, and capital of course also increases the productivity of land and labor. And not only that, it also helps in creating what? A lot of employment opportunities. Alright, well, I think we're going to stop here for today. A bit of recap on what we did today. We've done what capital is, and we also discussed about the various characteristics of capital, and we also saw various kinds of capitals. Alright, and lastly we concluded saying the fact that capital is a very important factor of production, and why we just discussed about it. Okay, for now we're going to stop here. In the next class we're going to talk about capital formation. So still then, stay tuned, stay safe.